Good morning. I need a real job. I've spent the last hour trying to make this video, wasting time. I even made notes for it, and I'm still just struggling. And I haven't showered in 4 days and changed clothes. If you go back and watch my last videos, you'll see this same shirt. You don't know how much money you're going to make when you do gig work, and it sucks because some days you can make $300, some days you can make $50. And you have to pretty much just give all your attention to your phone and the apps. I hate it because I'll have a bunch of apps running and then I'll be like, oh, maybe I can get this little thing done, and I'll get distracted and then ping, right back to your phone. And I just don't like it. I don't like it. But that's my own problem. I'm working on it. This economy, however, is the direct result of corruption. And it seems like the Democrats have just learned nothing. That's the overall subject of the video. Let's get into it. The Democrats have learned nothing. In my opinion, the Democrats are currently our biggest obstacle to developing any sense of social solidarity or class solidarity. Excuse me. Ironically, because, they used to be the party of class solidarity, but they have since been hijacked. They are, the Democrats, the progressives, the socialists, the communists, whatever you want to call that small but loud group of obnoxious people, they are the source of division and destabilization in our communities right now. So ironic because they are the party of inclusion, and yet they are very exclusionary. And the exclusion process is part of their tactics, right? Because humans we're social creatures. We do not want to be part of the out group. And so that's how they weaponize connection to encourage people to conform. And I just want to say a few things. It's tough because they are at fault, but they are also the victims of intense psychological warfare and manipulation. And so I feel like I'm victim blaming in a sense when I say that, and I am victim blaming. So I want to convey that I also simultaneously possess compassion and sympathy for these people. And so it's very much a double-edged sword, because ultimately you have a responsibility to continually question and to seek knowledge. And these people were programmed with a little bit of information and then just stopped. Their worldview stopped with the little bit of programming that they have allowed themselves to succumb to. And so I just want to make this prediction. I think we're going to see more protests this summer, the summer of 2025, and it's going to be worse than it was in the summer of 2020. Things are escalating. And did I already talk about useful idiots? No. These people are useful idiots for the ruling class. That term dates back to, if I remember correctly, like the Soviet era and the communist efforts going on back then. The useful idiots were the people who just did whatever the party said and who intentionally sowed disruption within the communities to enable the state to take more control and power. And we're seeing that play out in a different form now, because it's not the state that will be taking more power, but it's the oligarchs. So when destabilization and destruction lowers property values in various areas in the upcoming months, the oligarchs are just going to go in and buy that property at a discounted rate, which makes it easier for them to consolidate power and resources, which is all that the ruling class cares about. They don't care about class solidarity. They don't care about the working class. And so these leftists, these progressives who have fallen for the lie are victims of massive manipulation. But they also have a responsibility to rise above it. And this video is my attempt to try and help them become aware of the fact. Because as of right now, it seems that the Democrats have learned nothing. Let me move to my next point. They are absolutely ignoring the insane levels of fraud and wasteful spending our government has engaged in, propping up their friends in the ruling class over the last many decades. They're ignoring it simply because Elon Musk is the one exposing him. I don't like or support Elon Musk. Go watch my other videos and you'll see that I think he is a Trojan horse, but I believe that the corruption and fraud is 100% real. And it's part of the plan to usher in a new technocratic authoritarian state. In a lot of ways, they have to dismantle the old system. And if they do it publicly, people will think, oh, these people who are rooting out corruption, they do care about my well-being. They do care about my future. Sure, I'll go along with the transhumanist agenda. Because look what Elon did during the Trump era. If there's one thing we theoretically should be able to agree on, it's that government corruption and fraud and wasteful spending is wrong. And yet we can't. Because you've been played. Another little note I have underneath there is while also ignoring the government corruption and fraud, they ignore a lot of problems that our communities are facing here at home, like the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis, the increase in crime. And they ignore all of these things while simultaneously supporting things like illegal immigration, which exacerbates all of the problems that I just outlined. The housing crisis, the cost of living crisis, and the Democrats have learned nothing. My next point, it is very reminiscent of what is going on with these people, the leftists, very reminiscent of the Chinese Cultural Revolution. Started around the 60s by Mao Zedong in an effort to consolidate power and resources under a communist party. Things like struggle sessions, which occurred during the Chinese Cultural Revolution, have taken new form in our modern cancel culture-esque environment. We still see struggle sessions. We literally have corporations engaging in struggle session. They're not called struggle sessions, but that's what they are. Like privilege walks and all of these other things to sow division among the people. Pitting parents against children, very much what the Chinese Cultural Revolution did. And how many of these stupid fucking leftist green-haired people, I'm never talking to my parents again. That's what they want. It's really, really, really sad. So again, these people are victims, but they have a responsibility to overcome the programming. First, they need to acknowledge that they've been programmed. And that's the thing. There's a quote, was it Thoreau? Maybe Thoreau, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe Mark Twain, I think. It is easier to fool someone than convince somebody they have been fooled. And that is what we are dealing with right now. One last sort of personal note that caps all of this off. I have a friend, childhood friend, known this person 25 plus years, I would say. We'll stop at 25 years. She, a few years ago, 2, maybe 3 years ago, accepted a job to be a college professor. And I gave it a little bit of time, but then I brought up the fact that I'm concerned about her becoming a brainwashed leftist academic, because the academy has been just taken over by leftists, by Marxists, neo-Marxists. People get so just caught up on words when these videos and all of our conversations would be 14 times longer if we were to talk slowly and precisely and hedge every expression. You might find that I hedge expressions. It's because I'm trying to convey a lot in a very small amount of time. So I'll use a word where maybe 12 other words could also be used, and so people just get so hung up on it. So, but the left, the academy, has just been taken over by the critical consciousness Marxists who want communism. I raised this concern with the friend, and it happened. It happened, unfortunately. Before the election, this friend started showing concerns about Donald Trump. And this is a brainwashed example. I just want to emphasize it. She literally asked me, what's going to happen to gay people if Donald Trump gets elected? And so I didn't understand the question, and I asked for follow-up, and she clarified, gay marriage. What's going to happen to people who are married, gay people who are married, if Donald Trump wins? And it's so hard to have those conversations because they're not rooted in reality. Donald Trump, this is a fact. I encourage you to go fact check this, because I had to fact check it. Donald Trump was the first presidential candidate to be on the record before being elected as supporting gay marriage. Go fact check that. And so the fact that this friend is concerned about gay marriage is proof positive that they are brainwashed to hysterical levels. And then, after the election, when he won, she asked me, she says, what do I tell my students? And in a non-brainwashed world, or a person who's not brainwashed, who doesn't teach political science, even if they teach political science, there's nothing you should have to tell your students. Democracy did what it was supposed to do. Or are you beginning to question democracy? Democrats have learned nothing. But they might be on their way. Much love, y'all.